Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to a BlackSwanRadio.com podcast. I am your host, Rondell L. Jordan, and today I have a little bit of food for thought as I am just settling back in from my trip to Cartagena, Colombia, and my God, was it great. Started off a little bit challenging, ran into some roadblocks, right, and some delays. But this trip has taught me a lot, and I feel like this trip created circumstances that caused me to elevate my travel skills. I'm actually very glad. I was actually intending to take or began my journey on Wednesday evening. I was going to take the 4 o'clock flight to Houston and then jump on the Houston flight to Bogota. But the funny thing is, I really didn't want to visit Bogota. I really wanted to go to Cartagena and Medellin. But Bogota was the Colombian destination for United Airlines. It was direct destination to Bogota. So that's where I booked my flight to. It was pretty much settling. Now, on Wednesday when I went to the airport, I came into a roadblock, right? The lady behind the counter said that I needed some type of paperwork in order to aboard the plane. And that she needed to see me actually fill this paperwork out online. So the link she gave me didn't work, and so I researched it, and it took me to a place. Of course, it's in Spanish, so I ended up filling out a form, and she improved me. But by the time that occurred, the flight was gone. So my next rebuttal would have been to leave the next day. And because I lost a day of travel and was only going to be going for a short period of time, about 3 days, I decided to go to Rio de Janeiro because it's more familiar. And the flights look wide open for past travelers. So I booked a flight to Rio de Janeiro. But eventually, what happened was it was pretty challenging trying to get to Houston out of Columbus. Eventually, I was able to make it out. And when I got to Houston, I looked at the screen. It says that the flight to Rio de Janeiro was delayed. So now I had to make a decision. All right, here's another travel day down, right? I wouldn't arrive in Rio de Janeiro until 9 a.m. And that's if everything went as according to the flight schedule as it was. So this was like another day gone. Plus I wouldn't arrive until the next day at 9 p.m. So I was like, well, this might not be worth the flight, to go and maybe spend a day and have to come right back. So then I walked over to the Bogota, which was departing at, I think, about 11:45. And so I was wondering, okay, maybe I should just rebook my trip to Bogota, and at least, I'll arrive, within about, 5 or 6 hours, and I'll be able to enjoy a couple of days, maybe a 48-hour trip or so. So, as I was contemplating, I kind of said a prayer and sat down at a chair on the, on the outskirts of the terminal. And I kind of said a prayer. I said, God, I need some guidance. I wish I could run this idea across someone to help, make this idea, this decision. A few minutes later, a gentleman go by the name Q, he approached me and he asked me if he could sit in the seat that was next to me, and I said, sure, absolutely. Have a seat. And while he was sitting down, he was adjusting his head, his headphones, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, have you been to Bogota before?" He said, "Yes, been a lot of times." And he said, "I said, have you been to Rio de Janeiro?" He said, "Yeah, it's one of my favorite places to visit." And I said, would you say that it's worth waiting for Rio de Janeiro, which has been delayed 12 hours till 9 p.m., spend a day and a half and come back home? Or do you think it would be better to go to Bogota? Is Bogota fun? And he said, you know what? It's funny you ask, because I actually have an extra space in Cartagena. I'm going to Bogota to go to Cartagena. If you come with me, I can show you the ropes. And I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to go to Cartagena. That was actually what I wanted to do. And I said, cool, let's do it. So I went and booked the flight to Bogota. And lady, printed my ticket. Didn't need any type of forms or anything. And boarded the flight. We were off on a fantastic journey. When we boarded the flight, interestingly, we flew about, I would say half hour. And we got an announcement from the captain stating that we have to go back because of an air pressure leak in one of the windows. It's like, wow. They literally turned, this is the first time this ever happened to me, We're off in the air, and they turned the plane back around and deboarded us. And so, at this point, it was like, wow, is this even meant to be? Because it took a lot just to get from Columbus to Houston when it comes to the pass travel. You know what I mean? Because, if the seating is tight, you may not make it. And I had to fly out to, I think it was Newark, and then go from Newark to Houston in order to get to Houston. I couldn't go straight to the Houston because that flight was booked. So now that I went through all that I went through, I'm just like, okay, I went through all of this. It's too far to go back. But now I'm on this path to Bogota. Now, Bogota is not that far away. It's like 5 hours. So this was a 3-hour delay they had announced. And, so at this point, me and Q, we became cool enough. He actually had a membership to the premier, services, United Services. So he was able to get a special suite. So we slept or chilled in there for a while, and a couple hours, and then we went back out and waited for our flight. It took patience, but eventually we reboarded and we were off. I went to sleep, woke up, and we were there. We have arrived in Bogota. Now, the sun had already been setting. It was nighttime, but it wasn't that late. It was about believe 6-7 o'clock when we got there. So we went and checked in, it took some time, but we went through the process, checked in, and went to the room. The room was spectacular. Beautiful view. Perfect. He had his room, I had my room. So things worked out. And then, we got ready to go quickly. And we went out and met up with some of his buddies, his homeboys, at the Vibe. And we chilled out and talked for a while. And then I know we all got into like a van, and the van took us to a club, and a Latin club, and it was real nice. A lot of ladies, a lot of American guys looked like they were coming in there, but very nice. And from that point, it was just about patiently waiting for the right time, observing what was going on. I know that the club was jumping. It was packed, healthy amount of males and females. And the females, if they were interested, they were interested. If you wanted them, you asked them for their WhatsApp, and it was very, very simple. And from there, I have to leave some for your imagination, but the Patreon group, I will go more in detail about the after hours, and I have receipts, I have video that I share on my Patreon that I can't share on the general platforms, social media. And I also share information about what you can expect when you go, and how to navigate, how to cut out the idle time that or wasteful time of learning. You can get directly to the point. So Q really looked out for me, and I told him that I want to share and spread the gift to others. So make sure you subscribe to my travel channel, blackswantv.org, and you can also purchase one of my travel guides. I'm going to be producing a travel guide for each month, and turn it into more of a magazine platform. All right. So I want other contributors, other travelers, other writers to be able to add context to the content. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this segment up. If you're interested in hearing more about this fantastic experience in Cartagena, stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about day 2 and kind of like summarize what happened in the after hours. So you definitely want to listen. Coming up next is Medellin for me, and Salvador Bahia, Brazil. What's your next destination? Leave it in the comment section. Till next time, keep the faith. Like, share, peace.